right, guys, second review of the year, second book of the year, Jade War, to keep going with the Greenbone Saga. So thought this book was phenomenal right out of the gate. This is going to be a very positive review because I liked both Jade City, Jade War, just picked up where it left off and expanded and was super, super good, easy to read, and I really, really enjoyed it. Now this I just got as well recently. This is the Illumicrate Set, and I've been reading the paperbacks. I also have a Kindle. I use that at night whenever, obviously it's not feasible to be reading a book based on lighting and things like that. But in any case, for the collection, these are absolutely gorgeous naked hardcovers, and they also happen to be signed by Fonda. And I'm a fan just after one read. So I'll be following the stuff that she puts out, especially if she keeps pumping out books like this that aren't necessarily YA. But in any case, love, love, love these hardcovers and the story itself. So let's jump right in with a little bit about the story. So without spoiling it, and a lot of times with these sequels, you kind of have to dance around stuff just because I don't want to spoil what was an awesome first installment to the series. But Jade War picks up where we left off in Jade City. Same clans, still at war with each other, but way more expanse just into the world that she's built in its entirety. So the No Peak clan, the Mountain clan are still at odds with each other. The way Jade City ends, absolutely with a bang, but obviously it's not all tied up. This is a trilogy, so it couldn't end then anyways. But Jade War was far more expansive, okay? The character development in this book, I loved Jade City, thought it was a 5-star book. The character development in Jade War is even more. The world building, she takes it to another notch and expands into the world that she's built itself versus just the island of Kikon and Janloon where the clans reside. So this just huge expansion into the world that she's building. She does a phenomenal job of doing that. Now, this one read, I would say, a little bit slower, or it will be for some people. This one was very politically driven. Not that the first one wasn't. We're talking about clan warfare here, a mafia style, family against family style of book. So that's has to be in there. But there was a lot more of it. I would say the first 200 to 300 pages of this book is less action. It's peppered in there for sure, and in the right spots, exactly where it should be. It's not like Fonda just threw it in there to throw it in there, but in Jade City, I felt like it was every chapter. It was really, really fast paced to me, high octane book, why I loved it. This one has way more depth though. You're following more characters, so there's more to kind of keep track of and remember, and she does a great job. And again, I'm not a huge fantasy guy, so I'm not used to having this kind of stuff in the book, but even, the world itself, she expands. The city, same as the first book, but what I really like about it is she has all of the clans and the people of high importance that are in those clans for a reference point. So not too hard to follow. Like I was saying in the first video, I was coming off reading The Stand by Stephen King, which has like 20 characters that you follow that all have depth. So a lot more to kind of grasp than a book like this, but it was expanded. There are more characters, there's more to follow. The character development with the people that make it from Jade City to Jade War is so good in this book. It's so much more in depth. Not that Jade City wasn't, but this just expands on that. The world building as well in Jade War was epic to me. They introduced a whole nother country because of the plot line, and I felt like I was there. She did a great job of depicting this new city, and it just was phenomenal. We get away from Kikon a little bit, but the new area that's introduced, the people that are introduced through one of the main characters have a lot of depth to them as well. You're emotionally attached to all of these characters. You're going to have a favorite. Your opinions about them from Jade City to Jade War is going to sway as well because there's such a good character arc happening from book 1 to book 2. Can't wait to get my hands on Jade Legacy for that reason. But and in one of my favorite characters in the series. He, again, don't want to spoil the first book, but he happens to be in another area in this book, and that's kind of our tie to another country. And Fonda Lee doesn't lack at all when setting up this new area. I mean, it felt totally different than Kikon, but it just, I mean, I felt like I was in that city. It was awesome, awesome stuff. So again, a little bit slower for some readers. I would say if you're not very into, you know, the family drama, the drama between the clans, and a lot of politics, it's gonna feel like it reads slower to you. But this is, after all, a fantasy epic, and you kind of should know going in, because the fact that it's kind of like a mafia style book, there's a lot of drama going on behind the scenes that sets up these epic, violent battles and scenes and things like that. So you see people building alliances, backstabbing each other, things like that are all happening. So it didn't feel, you know, slow or not entertaining at all. I like that kind of stuff, but for somebody who's looking for as much action as Jade City, it takes longer to develop in this book, and that's because there's so much more going on. So if you're in it for the full ride, you want to get lost in the story, lost in the trilogy, then you're gonna love this. Now, the last 200 pages of this book, though, I mean, I was 300 pages in before I decided whether or not, I was deciding that I like Jade City more, not because I didn't like this book, but just because that book was just so entertaining to me. But the last 200 pages of this book, from 385 to the end, I couldn't put it down. I planned on splitting that up between 2 days, and I read the rest of it in one sitting because it was just, I felt like I was binging a TV show. I mean, it was so good. The last 200 pages of this book were so intense. Body counts are high. Everything's been set up, and it's just exploding. So something I want to mention from the first book as well that I thought Fonda Lee did a really good job of is, you know, pretty quick, I would say halfway through Jade City, that no one's really safe in this story. So that keeps you guessing, but also you just don't know who you're gonna lose or who you're gonna hang on to. And being that it was like a main character, I love that she did that, because when it first happened, I was like, no, I really like this person. But it set up the entire trilogy to keep you guessing. I mean, there's things that happen in this book that it became more predictable, Jade Ward, but not in a bad way. It was stuff that was earned, and it needed to be there. And so there wasn't anything that was put in where I was like, that she just added this in to spice up the book. It was all necessary. It just became a bit more, you know, predictable, because you're seeing things that are happening and you're watching multiple people set up either allegiances with each other or really backstabbing each other before it's, you know, hitting its peak. So in any case, a lot more of that in this book. Never felt like, again, it was so predictable and bummed me out because, you know, hey, I saw that coming, and it's just, you know, standard, if you will. It was all earned. It felt really good, like the way she placed it. And none of the surprises or lack thereof I felt like were done wrong. I thought they were, you know, perfectly set up. So there also were things that absolutely surprised me. But again, last 200 pages of this book, that swayed me. I went from, I think I like Jade City more, to this is the better book. It's more in depth. And again, the action scenes from 200 pages on, or excuse me, from about 385 to the end of the book were insane. I mean, it was just popping off every single chapter. Again, nobody was safe. You didn't really know what was gonna happen, but every chapter something was popping off between one of the other clans, one of the countries. I mean, it was just an awesome ride, guys. So that's my review of the book. A little bit about what it's about without spoiling anything for you guys. And I guess we'll end with, like, you know, is it something that you would like to read? I'm not a big fantasy guy. I said that in the first video. This series made me want to jump into more urban fantasies because, again, I'm not a huge Dungeons and Dragons kind of guy. I'm more of a horror, suspense, thriller reader. Stephen King's my favorite author. But this, I mean, it's just blown me away so far, and it's kind of opening my eyes to the genre a little bit more. So if you guys have recommendations for me, other urban settings for fantasy, I'm all ears. This, again, just kind of blew me away and opened up my eyes to the genre a bit more, which is awesome because I'm sure there's many, many more titles. Fonda, I'm a fan. Again, 2 books in. I know she doesn't write a ton of adult fiction yet. This was, I think, the first series. But with how good the Greenbone Saga did, I'm sure she'll do more, and I'll be on the lookout to get those day one at this point because I'm just having so much fun with the Greenbone Saga so far. So in any case, if you guys enjoyed the video, like, subscribe, brand new channel, I'm just building it out. So if there's any other newbies that are wanting to make some content online, just enjoy the hobby, comment, follow the process. I'll be posting kind of what it's like for me building out this content, editing videos, just stuff that's absolutely enjoyable for me. So in any case, like I said, like, subscribe if you enjoyed the content, and I'll have Jade Legacy coming in the next probably 2 weeks or so. I've got Revival by Stephen King that's gonna be in between the two. I'm still waiting for my paperback of Jade Legacy, and I don't really wanna read these hardbacks, even though they're so awesome. I don't wanna put any wear on them because they're just gorgeous. But in any case, I'll have that one coming soon. Look out for Revival and then Jade Legacy on its way. Hopefully you guys are having a great start to the year, and hope you enjoy it. Later.